Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Lasham Briefing for Friday, the 19th of July, 2024. I'm going to start with a kind of weekly view at the jet stream, and I'll just run this animation, which is in 3-hour steps. And we'll run it through till about maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, just to see what's happening over the weekend. And as you can see, the jet stream here is kinking up with this blocking high pressure out here over northwestern Europe. But eventually, the low pressures went out and the high subsides, and the jet stream becomes a more sort of stable direct feature right across the North Atlantic. This is into Monday already, into Tuesday now. And we'll take about as far as Wednesday, and so you can see what's actually happening there. So moving on to the surface pressure charts then. Midday yesterday afternoon, you can see this frontal system out over Ireland, the big blocking high pressure out here over Germany, northern Germany and Denmark, is holding this frontal system out in the Atlantic. And if we run that through to midnight last night, you can see the occlusions fizzled out there, and into lunchtime today, it's still been held off. And I think most of the cloud that's associated with this frontal system is going to stay down the sort of western side of the country. We'll take the synoptic through Saturday at lunchtime. And you can see the highs starting to collapse a little bit now. The lows starting to move further in, and these fronts are now encroaching into the southwestern approaches of the country. Midnight Saturday night into Sunday, it's gone through. So looking at the sat pic here, we can see to the west, most of that cloud here is associated with the front and the low pressure off to the northwest, and a line from sort of Northumberside, Yorkshire, down through sort of Liverpool and down towards the West Country. Anywhere sort of southeast of that, we should be basking in sunshine today, and I think it's going to be quite a hot one. Looking at the rain radar then, there's virtually nothing there. There's a few showers down in Kent earlier on, but they've fizzled out and moved out into the English Channel and the North Sea. If we run the rain forecast through, we can see the weather associated with the low pressure and cold fronts that are out there, and that's been held off quite well by the high pressure. So spot winds today, to the north of us, 190, 15 knots, 280, 15 knots to the south. And if we have a look at the local weather, they're showing, we'll start with the winds. They're showing easterly winds through until about lunchtime, going around southerly, and then perhaps around to southwesterly in the afternoon. So we may end up with a bit of a run change after lunchtime, early afternoon if it's required. But those winds are going to be reasonably light, with a little bit of gusting. We're looking at maybe 20, 21 miles an hour, which isn't a great issue for us. Temperatures today, however, are going to be up 26, 27, maybe even 28, I've seen on some forecasts. So it is going to be a very hot one out there. And with very little wind, it's going to feel hot as well. And the UV levels are really high around about lunchtime and max heating. So make sure you've got your sun hat and your sunscreen, and you've got plenty of water out there with you. So GFS are saying about 27, 28 in the sort of Lasham area, with dew point down at around about 17. And if we have a look at Dave Masson's weather station here, we've already got 22, 23 centigrade with about 17 as a dew point. Dave's forecast is saying that it's probably going to be blue at Lasham today. And they've been looking at trigger temperatures of 26 centigrade to kick off the thermals up to about 3,500 feet. By 1 p.m, we might have some cumulus with cloud base at 4,000. And as the afternoon goes on, if the Q stays around, which it might do for an hour or two, maybe up to 4,500, 5,000 feet. So it could be quite a good day today. And certainly to the north, around about sort of Bicester, Granson, Lodge, and up through the East Midlands, they're looking at good cumulus with base 5,000 feet plus and tops at about 6 to 7,000 feet. So there's a possible decent task on today of Lasham, but it will be a late start, I think. Looking to the north as it is, this was about 15 minutes ago. We'll just refresh that and just see if there is any cumulus popping to the north. Nothing that we can see as yet. Maybe a hint of one there, but it's certainly taken its time to get going. Looking at the Areophodium TAF, a very simple TAF this morning, 1607 knots cav OK. And if we compare that with Farnborough, they're variable 3 knots cav OK, becoming between about 1 in the afternoon and 4 in the afternoon, 190, 10 knots. Skysight, potential flight distance today is quite poor along the south coast. And as you go further north up the centre of the country, it's looking a little bit better with that potential sort of decent soaring all the way up, or up at least as far as New York and maybe a little bit beyond that. Locally, the Skysight is showing a little bit of cumulus around lunchtime from about maybe 11:30 through to about 2 o'clock, 2:30 at the most. But for the rest of the day, it's going to be blue. And thermal strengths, nothing spectacular, maybe up to about 3 knots in the best part of the day when the cumulus is around. Moving on to Top Meteo, they're showing something similar here with a nice soaring band up the centre of the country. But don't forget, we've got the Riyadh airspace to contend with going out that way. So staying to the east of Oxford, Kidlington, and Weston on the Green and the Rise Zone would be a good plan today. Looking at thermal predictions around the Lasham area, they've virtually got nothing at 9 o'clock. It's totally blue, with by 10 o'clock maybe Q up to about, blue thermal, sorry, up to about 2,000 feet, getting up to about maybe 3,000 feet by lunchtime, with Q popping to the north. And perhaps a little bit Q getting down this way, but it's pretty much showing us being in the blue most of the day. And we'll run that through 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. It's gone blue again around Lasham, just a little bit Q there mid-afternoon. So no times today. It's a busy weekend. There's going to be a lot of aircraft flying around. Locally, Barton Stacey, we've got live firing there. 19 over to the west at Mere and Wiltshire, there's going to be paragliders. 25 is Farnborough Air Show. That's basically on all weekend, and I put a briefing sheet for that in the club room. It's on the tables there. You can go and have a read of that if you wish. Little Riz is active just to the north of the Rise Zone. That's 37 there. And then this big wodge of numbers all together there, clustered together. This is Riyadh. And there's also a briefing sheet for Riyadh in the club room. And it'd be worthwhile having a read of that as well, because it's extended airspace. And I'll show you a map of that airspace in a minute or two. 38 is Weston on the Green. 36 is Upmoor live firing. 40 is Dadford. If you don't know where Dadford is, it's up near Silverstone. There's a near display on there. 41 is Old Warden. The ATZ is active, and 42 North Luffenham. There's paragliders operating out of there today. So quite a busy day in the areas that you're probably going to want to go flying in if you're going cross country. So let's have a look at the airfield ops today. I'll just bring up those slides for you. Here's the Farnborough information. We're interested in the 19th today. It's the morning session is almost over. That finishes at 9:30 Zulu. So there's about another hour and a bit to go on that. And then the afternoon is 12:30 to 15:30. Now it's obviously inside the airspace there, but there will be aircraft they've got to get there. So just keep your eyes peeled when you're flying around. There may well be a few aircraft heading towards Farnborough. Riyadh, there's also the temporary restricted areas. Surface to flight level 85 to the north of this bisector here, and to surface to flight level 65 to the south of it. Don't forget Little Rislington is outside that zone to the north, and the ATZ is active today. So probably a good idea to stay well to the east of this area and where the good weather is. As I say, the briefing sheets are in the club room. So Odium cross-section today is showing it blue up until about 12 o'clock with a few cumulus up until about 3:30 in the afternoon. Light winds, they're showing just south of east through southerly by the end of the afternoon, and perhaps round to south-southwesterly by about 6 o'clock this evening. And no weather warnings, and temperatures getting up there. They were actually forecasting a 28 by about lunchtime. So the booking system today looks something like this, which equates to a K21 on booked instructor fly, one on the casual list, one on the 5-day course, and one booked out to club members. 773 is in the workshop, and it may or may not make it out onto the airfield by the afternoon. But we'll just have to wait and see on that. K13s, one on trial flights and one booked out to club members throughout the day. SH7 is available this morning, and SH2 and 3 are available all day. And of course, the simulator is available today for those who want to get out of the sun. Movements, there's an arrival. I've got it down as 1100. It could be as early as 10:30. But it's a light wind coming in, so that shouldn't affect us too much. There was another arrival and departure planned, but there was no flight planning. It was just down on the schedule. So I doubt we're going to see that one today. So we're set up on runway 09, launch point vehicles out there already. Be light east winds swinging around to southerly, then southwesterly during the day. A club grid on 09 grass north, if you please. And it could be blue at Lasham most of the day. So don't forget, it's going to be hot out there with high UV levels. So sun hats, sunscreen, and plenty of water, if you please. This is how we were going to set the airfield up to begin with then. So your visual representation is winch launching to the south of the main runway on 09, aerotowing the club gliders off the runway itself, and a grid to the north. That's it for the day. Hope you have a good day out there. Make sure you don't get sunburnt. Have a great time and enjoy it and keep it safe. Thanks very much.